You were asking me about Nudity Sutra, where I got the idea of that and all that. Yeah. Look, I mean, the music and its theory really not necessarily go together. Too much theory or theoretical knowledge makes a musician dull musician. Because most of them are bullshit. Nonsense. And I come from a country that you will understand because you are American, meaning that for 10,000 years so many invaders came to India and changed our art, our music. Politically correct word will be influenced, but that's just a politically correct. I don't agree with those. It's a distorted culture. Then nobody came to improve anybody's life there. So added some theory which are basically meaningless. So that's the reason I call it the Nudity Sutra, meaning stripping off those unnecessary theories. Do you remember that Henry Ford said the history is bunk? Do you know that
I
phrase?
heard that before. No.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
The history is bunk.
Uh-huh.
I think he said even the history is more or less bunk. And that's exactly I'm finding it out more and more. That history is where all a political novel manufactured to cover up their atrocities. I don't know, I have not found a single thing in this drum that is non-Hindu. From the construction to the finger techniques to the composition. Two ways you can see is that one way to see is by studying the other Indian drums. I find the garb, the strap, the reim, the way these are constructed is very Indian. And all the tabla finger techniques that we use, you will find them in few other Indian drums only. Outside, they don't even exist. No frame drum, dumbek, darbuka, those other hand drums, they do not use any tabla, Indian tabla playing technique. So these both ways you can find out that yeah, these are all bullshit. So history is bunk. Yeah, we got the name Arabic word, but it's like Mount Everest. It's not in England. It was never England's property, but got a name. So similarly, tabla, we have to understand. So these are just a few things. There are many other things that I had to strip off my life and try to play as just a regular human being. Whether that is music or not, listeners can tell. Theory cannot tell. If it is a flower, we can tell. just by looking at it, not by measuring its size, checking its color, or the aura. It's just a flower, so it's a flower. So pretty much I try to do that. Art is universal, not cultural. Those are political terms which I disagree. If it was cultural, then how can I play Indian instrument and Indian music and you guys pay me to pay my bills? So whoever like to believe they're cultural, they can do it, but not me. So that's how this whole idea developed in my head, is the meaning that's the kind of nudity I'm talking about. Of course, not my shirts and pants.
Purity.
The purity, and to find out about myself, who I am, not by the label society or a nation put on me, you know. So that's the whole idea. And then if you go that route, then you must learn how to meditate upon those sounds that you produce. That's all I did in the first song. That I don't know what is 5. People talk about 5. I just thought this is a very common phrase that in tabla we play, dhati dhagena. I don't know the meaning of it. Because I'm not playing math. I want to play music.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not at a grocery store buying something for $5. That's a different kind of 5. So, and I still don't know. So that's all I did in the beginning. That dhati dhagena. Quite interestingly, you guys should know that I didn't realize at the beginning why I chose 5. But then I thought about it. I also don't know why the 5 is a natural rhythm. The reason I'm saying natural rhythm is initially, like 3,500 years ago, 5 notes was 1 unit in Indian music. Later they changed that to 4 units, meaning almost like a 4/4 measure in your system in a bar.
Mm-hmm.
That helped those Hindus to come up with fraction meters and of course odd meters. So quite interesting. I don't remember exactly where I read that. It's also in the American Indians or the Native Americans.
Mm-hmm.
They had 5 too, not 4 or 3.
Very interesting.
Very interesting. That, yeah. So the maybe 5 is a natural, actually human rhythm. Quite possible. And that's why probably I also felt like meditate upon it. As I said, I don't know the meaning of it. I dived into it, going as deep as I can, because there is no end to it. If anybody says he or she knows 5, they don't know what they're talking about. Because you cannot ever get these things. You can only get better at it. You have that attitude, it will help you guys to learn more. So that's all I did. I'm just playing da ti da ge na, and it's telling me what to play next. I'm playing only 5.
Mm-hmm. And it's completely free form.
Completely free form in the sense that there is no man-made metric system. But there is, of course, a natural, universal, some kind of a metric system. Why I said that? Because I'm letting it happen. So there is a natural clock that dictating me, play that again. Play it in a different tempo. Gestalt psychology helped me to understand these things a lot. They're saying when Podresky playing a piano, we all say, oh, so sweet, so beautiful. And if a dog runs over the piano's keyboard, then we say, beat the shit out of the dog. It made horrible noise and this and that. Their argument is that how can you say it's horrible? Because the dog cannot step on any other way. So it was the most natural order. You are just not familiar with that sound. Or you're totally brainwashed for what the composer composed. That's the only music you think, not in a natural way. You believe in the red rose, but not the weed. But the weeds are also beautiful. They just bloomed.
Mm-hmm.
Mother Nature did that. So don't limit. I just don't want to limit my own instinct, own taste, and brainwashed by some politicians and colonizers and some idiots, basically. So, because this is a sound, this is a phrase. Who can say that this is not a musical phrase? Somebody who has no idea about music may come up with that theory. So anyway, that's how I, just open up, and I'm not thinking or anything. I'm just listening to this phrase and asking what to do next, and it's telling me. So there is a clock,
mm-hmm.
but that's not a man-made clock.
Mm-hmm.
There are, if you measure, then you will see I'm actually playing some of the triplet forms or quadruple forms, but I'm spacing them so there is no direct link to it. So this is how I go something like when I play some pause and suddenly I play. This is nothing but my understanding of 4/5. See, da ti da ge na, da ti da ge, da ti da ge na, da ti da ge din na, da ti da ge, da ti da ge din na. So I'm just not playing in that metronomic beat order. I'm just let it happen. So So it's, now you know that the free, it is not necessarily free form.
Right.
It's only free of man-made clock.
Mhm.
There is that natural order. And so that's pretty much what I did in the beginning of that. And I stuck to the same phrase, dhati dhagena. And its female counterpart is tati takena. See, in Hinduism, old Sankhya philosophy is probably 5,000 years old, could be even older. That saying Purusha and Prakriti, it's actually subjective and objective. In the creation you need those two things. But they're saying it's a male power and the female power. Okay. So that's why I also call this, use those terms male and female, because of that Purusha and Prakriti. Purusha is the subject. Prakriti is the object. Object is the pure potentiality. That's Kali, the goddess Kali. Shiva is the subject. So when they unite, creation begins. So anyway, it's the same thing in any other culture. Of course, in Chinese, they have the, and Lao Tzu and Shankara's Kapil Dev, they were born about the same time, about 5,000 years ago. Interesting.
Very much.
So anyway, that's pretty much where how I look at things. So I just play. Now, as I said, I'm playing based on my own understanding, my own taste. This is what I find. But at the same time, I can tell you that polyrhythm, rhythmic relation, theory, philosophy, math, I read them.
So it's a combination.
Right. It's not something that I'm dreaming to do and I'm just banging on them. I try to understand at a conscious level that what am I doing? And what am I getting out of it? And what my audience will get out of this. So I had to do the other study. And I may be right, maybe wrong, but to my understanding, I'm honest, I'm pure, I'm not fake. And that's all I want you guys to always remember and try to do that. With your best of ability. This is all I can do, man. I mean, I have a limit. There are other talented musicians, they can play whatever they want.
Mm.
But that's my talent stays right there. That's all I have. Yeah. Now, so then, after doing that kind of a introduction, prelude, type of thing, very common 4/4 time signature movement is dha dhati dhagena dhati dhagena, meaning dhati dhagena 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. So there comes that 5 again, and that's the 5 I used earlier to begin with. Dha dha rest, then dhati dhagena. So the same dhati dhagena. So now it is in the 4/4 time signature in set time cycle 16 that I played, which is the Da, dati, dagena, dati, dagena. See, so many phrases of fives that coming, but at a 4/4 time signature. Then I went to 5 by the 5/4. So that 5/4, that phrase, the 5 is coming within all the other 4/4 time signature. Then gradually I went to just the pure 5. Then I went to different tempo, different time signature, and I think I did some triplet there. Then. No, what did I do there? Three and 2. Do you hear that?
Mm.
Then or one, two, three type of, but I combined them. I don't know exactly how I did it because I was pretty much improvising.
Mm.
But these are the ideas that was there, and I also use the 4/3, that concept, and something like that. Dati dagena, dati dagena, dati dagena, dagena, dati dagena, dati dagena, dati dagena, dati dagena, dati dagena, dati dagena, dati. Then some triplet form and all that. Regular triplet and
Very cool.
some rela, then this kind of rela that everybody plays in a we call it a peshkar, the prelude or the beginning of it. So I don't remember exactly how I play, but this is pretty much the areas that I covered. Then you were asking me about the morning walk song.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, that was in 9. And long time ago, I still remember I was flying to London from Houston, Texas. And those days, I could smoke. Plane was 747, was pretty empty. And I was sitting in the back, and really nobody was around me. Sitting there smoking my favorite Marlboro, and jet engine noise, I guess, helped me to compose this song. You know. Dagana dada tata dada dati dagatuna kana takana tata tata data dati dagadinagana. Dagana dada tete dhatete dhati dagatuna kana. Female. Takana tata tete dhatete dhati dhage dhinagena. And I call it a morning walk because of its syncopated movement. Of course it's 9, but I kind of like to think it as 4.5. Dagana dada dati dati dagatuna kana takana tata tete dati dagana data dati dagatuna takana tata tete dati dagatuna. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's how we count 4.5. Single unit, 1, 2, 3, and then double the time. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. Hear that?
Yeah.
So 1, 2, 3 full units, and then 3 half units. So it becomes 4.5.
Yeah.
So it's if we think that way, I think it feels kind of natural. So that's how I used to play, but I named it Morning Walk. And in the morning, of course, I don't want to wake up and go for a walk. So that means there is some kind of a childish me saying, don't go, sleep a little longer. You know? So I thought, how can I really express that mood in the morning? And I'm determined to go for a little walk. It's good for my health. But I also don't want to go. I want to sleep a little bit longer. So suddenly I felt that at 7 against 9 will do the job. When we put the 7 against 9, it seemed like energy and lethargic. Not alone, individually or independent 7 is different story. But when it is against 9, or the concept is 7 over 9, then 9 is like all full of energy. And 7 is childish, lazy, lethargic. So when I was something like this, that say if I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hear that?
Yeah.
I'm singing the same.
Contrasting moods.
Right,
Yeah.
but the same time frame. So I'm not changing, meaning that's the concept of my 7 over 9. So dagana da 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 dagatuna kana takena ta ta te te dagana da 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 dagatuna takena ta ta te te dagana da 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 dagatuna kana takena ta ta te te. So that's pretty much what I did there. I don't play exactly like that, but you know, something like in a bigger 9 I would go. then I change that to the 9 and go. So the clapping in my head at that point is a 4.5. It's hard. I cannot just tap with the toe, but you got the idea.
Yes.
And so this is how it goes. And I like this song, and many people actually like that song.
Yeah.
Then I just kind of develop it from there, and these are all pretty much in all of those movements, songs, they're in my books here and there. Then I played Twisted Road. That is absolutely no doubt is a fraction meter. It's 5.5. And 5.5 goes like 1, 2, 3 at the beginning, full. Then 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, meaning 5 at a double speed. So it becomes 2.5. And basically, it's a movement is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's the movement of 5.5. It's not 11, it's 5.5.
Right.
And so I was kind of wanting to compose something on it. And I came up with this song that I call Twisted Road. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So it goes like that.
All over the 5.5.
All 5.5 entire the song, different divisions. I just made up some here and there.
So it sounds like the song drifts through different time signatures and things, but really it's the 5.5.
The 5.5 is the meter though.
Right.
But the movements are all in really 4/4 time signature.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning within that time frame, I'm not doing any changing any time signature. But the area is 5.5.
Mm-hmm. The canvas.
Right,
Yeah.
because remember, guys, that meter and time signature are not the same thing.
Right.
So the meter wise, it's the 5.5 meter. Time signature is 4/4. I'm not doing anything there. It can be played at a triplet 2, 3, 4 if I compose something, which will be pretty damn difficult at that speed, because it will require 2 cycles. It's 3 is my time signature, 5.5 is my meter. So every cycle it will go over the meter. You understand?
Yeah.
If
It's
it
a lot
is
of math
4/4,
involved.
right, 4/4, then half of 4 is 2, it will still match fine.
Right.
But
Sure.
half of 3 is 1.5.
Right.
So then it has to go over the meter. Go over the meter, not the bar.
Mm-hmm.
It's going over the meter. So I need 2 cycles of 5.5 to make it up if I want to play, yeah, 3/4 time signature, something in a triplet form. That then finally I played the what was the name of the last song?
No pants.
No Pants. Yeah, you're right. Free at last. That means again is that I feel like, oh man, finally I can do what I feel right, and I'm not ashamed of it. So that's the philosophical idea, pretty much. That although I maintained a time cycle there and tempo, but the energy is free, meaning I'm just rejoicing that state of my mind, that freedom, and that's why I called it that. Played mostly all traditional compositions, and a time cycle I used there is an obsolete time cycle, and most people, even of my generation, they don't know. See, in the north, in India, northern part of India, time cycle theory is really got simplified and to the almost like a basic skeleton of the true time cycle theory. My father used to play khol, which was and he was master and knowledgeable person in khol. Kirtan is the music, which is the Hindu sacred music. They use, or probably they used, all past tense, unfortunately, their time cycles that most people don't even know anymore. It's complex but beautiful. And I learned and I heard those from my father. In our classical music or raga music, they use a very simple form of some time cycles. And as I said, that's why most of the musicians, they don't even know those time cycles that were existed at one time in our music. And I was fortunate to learn about those from my father. Some books, I think they documented some of them, They're like over 100 beats long, and you won't get bored. But think about it, when you're playing and singing on that time cycle, you have to have that big cycle in your head.
So you know where you are.
So you know where you are. And because each bar has a different meaning,
Right.
musical meaning, aesthetical meaning, and they knew that. The modern days, they don't even know about those time cycles. Even my generation, my father told me, but I didn't pay much attention either. So I cannot teach you guys that those, I can inform you, that's all, but I cannot teach you. I don't know them at all in my heart, in my brain. But I know they existed. And those are the reasons my father was so valuable to my life, that, not some kind of a distorted music he dealt with, or he studied and played ancient Indian music, which did not have any market. But that's market's problem, not his problem, or India's problem. So anyway, this is something that I learned from my father. And as I said, I know my generation, many musicians, they never even heard that name. And that. So I included that in my book, if anybody wants to get those information, they're written there. It's still the 16-bit time cycle, 4 bars of 4. But listen to it the way it moves. All 1/8 notes, 4 bars. They're arranged 3, 2, 3, that order in each bar. This is how it goes. First 3 has only 1 noise, 2 rests.
Mm-hmm.
Then a noise and 1 rest. Then 2 noise and a rest. So
It makes 8.
8.
Yeah.
8th note in a bar,
Mm-hmm.
and then play that 4 times
Mm-hmm.
with a male-female order, as you know, that we have to have that. So dha, din, dha, din, dha, din, dha, din, na, tin, ta, din, dha, din. It's called Madhyaman. Pretty time cycle.
Yeah, it is.
And yeah, like 2 generations before me, they were still singing songs. And on YouTube, there are several songs I heard, and they played that time cycle. And I heard my father play a lot with the songs. He's old school, And so that's the time cycle I used there in this no pants thing. The composition I started out with, it was one of the greatest maestros of tabla. He composed, Munir Khan, and one of his disciples, who was also one of the greatest tabla players, named Habibuddin Khan. I heard him play on recording, and I learned this one from one of my teachers in Calcutta, the basic one, and then people modified it. So this is one of the modification by Habibuddin Khan of that Munir Khan original composition. What he did is that the the high part where we play the same phrase 3 times, he used the resonance of the last note to cover the following beat, rather than making a noise there. Just let it ring through it. So that's the technique I use. Hear that?
Yeah.
That's the technique that he used.
That's very cool.
Then I play 3 times and then we laugh. Here I played a qaida. It's one type of composition that we improvise. That is, I listed in my book as a Lucknow school. The original composition from Delhi, but the way I wrote it is in a Lucknow style, that's why. But the original composition was really from Delhi school. That goes like this. See that it goes really well with that time cycle. I love it.
Yeah, it's great.
And the composition itself is a pretty funky one.
Yeah.
So that the maestro in Calcutta, he composed this one. Love it. I don't remember all of them that I played, but I remember one composition I played. These are fixed compositions, we do not improvise. I heard 3 or 4 composers' names attached to this composition. So I don't know which one is true, but pretty much this is probably about 200 years old composition.
Wow.
And that, the names are always kind of fictitious in here because who knows who composed it? Just people make up their favorite composers' names, I guess. So we have no way to tell. So anyway, I'll include it in my book anyway. Then there are some, unknown to me, and I left it that way. Beautiful composition. This one does not come on the downbeat. It ends right before the downbeat. So that's kind of a fun part about this. So. This one is the downbeat. So these two compositions I just played, one is called Farrukhabad School, the first one. Second one was from Lucknow School. Now I'm going to play, I played that on the CD, is from Punjab style or the school. The first beat, it has 7 notes. That's how it starts. But everything else is in 8. So da, din, 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 da. Nageta kete gena gena nageta. Nageta kete gena 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3. Nageta kete gena 1 2 1 2 3 1 2. Nageta kete gena 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2. This is 7. So suddenly write the next one is 8. One two one two three 1 2 3. Then starts the Tihai. That one was composed by the founder of Farrukhabad School. They were all, you know, in the beginning of 1800s, that period. I think then I went into the Rela, but by maintaining the rhythm, this funkiness of the time cycle itself. I don't remember the order, of course not,
Sure.
but I believed I ended something like this one, that. Something like that.
Very cool.
So yeah, I mean, I used the same 4/4 time signature, but with the Maya's help, kind of created a shadow of 3/4, and that technique I learned from my father's playing. That to you guys, to the Westerners, it's actually a polyrhythm.
Right.
Theoretically, it's a polyrhythm technique, and so yeah. But I learned it from my father because he used to play that on hold, and very polyrhythmic thing. So yeah, that's about that CD. I'm glad that you guys are trying to incorporate some of it in your drum set, playing and other instruments. Hopefully, each song and this my talk will also help few of you and to understand your own music and go from there.
Awesome.
That's pretty much the idea. So hopefully it will help. Okay.
Great.
Good.